A fast one here.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Tech Talk Tuesday with Scotty Too Hottie. It is.
Hello, everybody.
What are we at today? What's the date? Today is the 7th of November. We're a month away from PRI. It's dark here. That kind of sucks, but it's that time of the year.
Hopefully everybody's giving the turkey a little chance too. Didn't go right into Christmas decorating.
Not at our house.
I know my youngest daughter did. She's all decked out already. So crazy.
I came home to a Christmas tree in my bedroom last night.
Nice.
Set the mood, right?
Yeah, no doubt. So
jangle balls.
That's awesome. So, well, anyways, welcome to Tech Talk Tuesday, everybody. It's been a couple weeks. I apologize. Had some crazy schedules. We just finished up the World Finals of Dirt in Charlotte. Good weekend for that. So, like Doug said, PRI is coming up. So that means that most motorsports are done or winding down. And then we'll reset for 2024. Lots of good stuff going on next year. So, but tonight we're going to talk about the JASO or JASO spec. It's a motorcycle spec. There's a lot of questions about it, and we're going to dissect that a little bit and explain what it is. So
is it only for the motorcycle world, or is it industry wide, but it's developed in the motorcycle world?
Well, the organization is developed in Japan, or it's the Japanese Automotive Standards organization. So it can be used for an automotive oil, absolutely, just depending what spec it is. So we'll dissect that a little bit. But basically, years ago, the API, which is the American Petroleum Institute, had they kind of set the standard for the specs and everything. So like everything, oils and lubricants have changed over the years, basically to appease the EPA or environmental, or basically what's coming out the exhaust. So the motorcycle world was no different. I mean, if you're my age or close to it, you can remember back in the 70s, 80s, two strokes it was a signature. People say they burn oil, which they kind of did. They would smoke like crazy. So basically in the mid 90s, there was pressure on eliminating or trying to clean up the exhaust on motorcycles, particularly the two-stroke. So back in, I believe it was around 1998, the Japanese engine oil standards, which is equivalent to the American API, American Petroleum Institute, said, hey, we got to come up. So basically, in a nutshell, just to summarize, keep it simple, they took the API spec, which they used to use, motor oil in motorcycles that was basically spec'd out for two-stroke or four, and they tightened the spec. So when they did it pretty much like anything. To clean it up, you need more detergent. So, and that's kind of, what they did with those. So, but so really 1998 was kind of the break point or the benchmark when they formed the organization of JASO, which again is Japanese Automotive Standards Organization. So they're the body in Japan that kind of the engineering group that looks at these oils and determines what the formulation is. So, but and really it was targeted for motorcycles. But so before we get too in depth in what the specs are, because there's a multitude of them over the years. There's a lot of questions, and we get called all the time that, hey, I need a 2T or a 4T, oil. So as of late, like the Briggs & Stratton, we'll get a lot of that. So like, oh, we got to use this Briggs & Stratton, 4T. So, 2T and 4T basically derives, it means 2-stroke and 4-stroke. So the T actually, a lot of people think is derived from the French, but it's actually German for tact or meaning stroke or cycle. So when you see, the 2T and 4T, it's on almost every label now, either on the front or back somewhere. It'll specify that. And I put a couple Maxima references on there for everybody to see. A lot of the manufacturer brands, I should say, are putting them right on the front. So the top one, or the blue label on the Super M, if we can blow that up in the bottom left corner there, I don't know if we can get that blown up, but you can see where it says 2T or 2-stroke. Yeah, so really, I just want to highlight this again. 2T and 4T does not represent a specific brand of oil. It represents 2-stroke and 4-stroke. So you'll see it across the board in the industry from brand to brand. And then the picture below represents the 4-stroke or the 4T. So that's kind of what that is. So, you're starting to see a lot more ultra low viscosity oils and low viscosity oils. So somewhere, the question in the industry is, when are they going to bottom out? Well, it can't be a 0-0. At least I think it can't be a 0-0, but they're working on like 0.6, 0.8. 0.8's already out in 0.16. But one of the things, to answer your question, Doug, across the board, if you look at some of these newer engines that are small, the hybrids, like the 1.5 liters, some of them little guys, they're kind of basically kind of motorcycle, engineering. So you will see the API spec with the JASO spec in the manuals for that. So years ago, those were kind of equivalent, but so anyway, so going to the 2T specification, it's just like with the diesel world where we said, the C stands for combustion, and then like the H or the J, or what it's CK4 now, the K actually represents the newest version or newest formulation. So, and then of course 4 is for 4-stroke. So over on the 2-stroke spec, the first one years ago was FA. So A was the first version of what it came out. So basically, in a nutshell, they went down as they tried to eliminate smoke, especially in a 2-stroke. That was the end game, was to try to get, less smoke, less exhaust emissions, stuff like that. So as they did that and introduced these new engineered oils, that's where the spec came in, the JSO FA, FB, FC, and FD. And, of course, with anything, when they do that, they're backwards compatible. So if you had an old bike, compared to the newer bike, so the FD there is the newest spec. So basically that's, they take this out, additives, and play around with them. They put more detergents in and try to clean it up. Just like over in the diesel world, they've taken a lot of zinc out, a lot more detergents to try to get that cleaner for emission purposes. No different over on the motorcycle oils. So, but the 2Ts or the 2-strokes, still predominant. I don't want to date myself, but they're slowly phasing out, especially on the marine side. You see a lot of 4-stroke outboards. You look in the power stroke, the power equipment business, like with steel and Ryobi and all those, a lot of that's going to electric battery, but a lot of those have gone to like a newer oil that's, ashless, whatever, that don't create all the smoke of years ago, especially if, back in the, 80s and 90s, if you had a chainsaw, they smoked like heck. That was just, that's just part of the game. That's what they did. So, but any questions on that, Doug? It's pretty self-explanatory in the motorcycle oils.
Right.
And then the 4T, of course, that's your 4-stroke. Basically, this is really common what people see, because this is your passenger car motor oils are 4-stroke. So, but in a nutshell, what they did, with the 4Ts is they spec them as JASO-MA and JASO-MB. The only difference is the friction modifier additive in there. So a lot of motorcycles, especially the 4-strokes, have a wet clutch additive. So they're lubricating the gearbox, the clutch, and the engine. So that would be the JASO, MA oil for that. And then the MB would be for the, the non-wet clutch additives and all that. So, but what they did over the years is they, kind of improve these oils. And when they do, you'll see out there, I believe, and I think I put it in here, like in 2006, they came out with some new specs. So there's MA1, MA2. So all that really references the MA2 is the latest and greatest. It's got the best additive package, for clutch response and stuff like that. It's burns cleaner, of course. So, but there's not a lot of differences with them other than that. I mean, the friction modifiers, and like I say, that derived from the automotive oils. The automotive oils tend to have a lot of friction modifiers in them. So, but it's kind of important here because if you race motocross or you race road racing motorcycle, clutch response is super critical to these guys. It's just like if you want to compare it over to hunting, guys that have they lighten up the trigger, they like a certain pound trigger pull. It's kind of the same thing over in that world. So it makes a huge difference, what spec oil, if you have an MA or M2, really for the clutch response. And then a lot of these, like I say, they're API spec. You'll also see, of course, the owner manuals, or when you go to the, oil world and lubricants, they'll have the spec listed, what it's approved for. And, Maxima, you'll see it a lot because Maxima is big into the power sports and, motocross, motorcycles, side-by-sides, all that, even marine. But pretty basic. But the most important thing, takeaway out of it is, that 2T and 4T, just what that represents, because you see that a lot, and people are like, I got to have this, I got to have a, 4T oil. Well, technically all 4-stroke oils 4T. But other than that, that's kind of the simple basics of, the motorcycle oils. And, when you get into like micro sprint racing or some of the midgets, or, a lot of the, there's certain motorsports that run motorcycle engines. So it's critical when they call if you're selling oil, or even if you're the user, what to look for.
So even the cycle powered mini rods, then this is the perfect fit for that application.
Yeah, exactly. So your garden pulling, track. Well, most of those don't have. They run a straight 30. They don't care about a wet clutch or any of that. But yeah. So that's that. Maxima's. We put a couple references there. Obviously we're a Maxima distributor now, so we should have that order coming soon, fully stocked with that. We've had some questions over the last couple weeks about, are we just racing? We're a full one-stop lubricant company at Premier. So, we do, fleet, on-road, off-road, marine, motorsports, power sports, side-by-side, marine, outboard, inboard. No minimum orders over with us. We don't require any of that. Onesie, twosies, we'll sell you a truckload, half a truckload, a case. We just picked up a good source or a master distributor for antifreeze and coolants now.
I was just gonna say it's getting cold up here. Maybe you should touch on that for just what it is and maybe a price point if you can.
Yeah, on the antifreeze.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the crucial things with antifreeze is, and I know we were guilty of this too, because everyone's got a garage and do stuff, but deionized water is, you really should have that if you're going to blend your own. If it's not 100%, you're going to dilute it down your own ratios. You definitely want to make sure you're at least 50%. A lot of guys like to mix 60%, but you kind of, I know people do it. You got your garden hose and well water or whatever, but you really should use deionized water if you're going to blend your own. But
So that's basically distilled water then?
yeah, distilled, um, it's just got more. It's cleaner. All the impurities are out of it. So, but we, the company that we're with is Shamrock. It's actually Chicago Shamrock, so they've been around forever. I've done business with them in the past, so they have all the flavors of antifreeze coolants. They have the RV antifreeze windshield wash. Um, we're going to bring in the two common flavors are your green universal and then your heavy duty, either your red or your fuchsia, depending on what brand. But Shamrock's pretty cool. We'll get a little highlight on them. They and if you go on their website too, you'll be able to see this. So I'm not telling any of their trade secrets, but they package and blend for Prestone and Shell. So they've been around a long time, and then their house brand or blend is Shamrock. So, but they have all the latest and greatest, yellow. But like I say, we'll stock the two most common until we get more interest in some of the, Hote and Oat and some of those.
And how is that available? Just in gallon jugs, or can you get it in pails? Or
Yeah, good question. So we're going to do gallons. We're going to do gallon cases. And we're going to do drums. So those are the most common what people like to do. So
okay.
we'll have both of those available. RV antifreeze, we'll stock some of that, probably cases, because
Right.
most people with campers and toters and all that stuff, a drum you can do the whole neighborhood, But there's a lot of differences in that too. I mean, there's some recycled products and there's glycerin and there's alcohol. So we're just bringing in the premium stuff, going right to the top. There is a shelf life on RV antifreeze. A lot of people don't realize that, depending on what you get. So you got
to explain the difference between RV antifreeze and coolant antifreeze.
So they have, they both have inhibitors in what you get. They're rated for, of course, RV antifreeze is rated pretty low, but it depends on the blend. If like I say, you get glycol, or if they use alcohol, a lot of RV antifreeze use glycerin and alcohol. Where when you go over to your antifreeze, they won't do that. That's mostly, glycol, derived additives. So, but there's like with your HVAC stuff, there's inhibited, so there's rust inhibitors, additives in some, and then there's non-inhibited, so it doesn't have the rust prevention in there. So, but we'll get when we get it stocked in there, I'll get some pricing out on one of the shows maybe next week. We'll show some of that, or we can get that out for sure. If anyone's interested, they could just check in with you or email us, or go on our website and on the contact something, like there's a box there you can put a note or whatever.
But as always, we have 15% off if the promo code BMPT. So any orders, use that promo code and get yourself 15% off.
Yeah, also too, the house diesel additive, so that's a nice added bonus for us too. So we're gonna, just have the main flavors that everybody wants. There's only a couple really that are real popular, but super critical now that we're getting into cold weather, and fuel is crazy different depending where you are in the country. So, but we'll have those we'll do in cases of 6. I believe we're gonna do one of the offerings will be a 64 ounce, container case. And then the other one will be 32 ounce, size bottles, 6x1s.
Yep.
So, but it treats a lot. I mean, that stuff goes a long way. So, but windshield wash too, going back to that, we just went with the -30. I mean, you get any farther than that where you're into -50 or below. I mean, typically those are specially made, but 30 covers the, that'll cover pretty much across the board wherever you're at.
Right.
So
it's too cold to be out if you need that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, but Other than that, yeah, we're getting our inventory built up over at Premier, and we're getting a lot more of the core products, our diesel engine oil, Sunoco flavors, and working on some projects for next year. So PRI is coming up. We're probably going to do some kind of promo for that. We want to, highlight some kind of bundle pack. I call it bumper to bumper, but we really would like our, teams to come to us for everything, from, gear oil for the rear end, engine oil to their detailers, their, you know, speed wax, high gloss polishes, brake clean, all that stuff. So, but we gotta, we'll talk offline. We've talked about the starting fluid, so we're trying to work with someone on designing that in a little bit smaller can everybody likes. So we got some of that in the works right now too. So
Yep, 80% for
yeah,
everybody.
80%. So I mean, for us, the off season, it's not really an off season because things will start rolling back January right after Christmas.
Right. Well, this is the time now that people that want to test oil on a dyno.
Yeah, so it's a good point. We have some really good engine builders right now tested Sunoco and Maxima. So we should have some feedback with that. And for us, I was talking to some people today. We're confident because we're offering 3 brands, in our opinion, of high performance, high quality oil. So, which is nice because not everybody drives a Chevy truck. So even though the Ford or the Dodge might be equally as good, they just have a different brand for whatever reason. So we want to try to accommodate everybody and have, like I say, our goal is one-stop shop. So, but we're gaining on her. And like I say, Beer Money Pulling Team promo, let us know. And like I say, I think maybe 2 weeks we'll highlight PRI. We'll let everybody know the booths, where we'll be, what's going on. And if anyone wants to stop by and have, sidebar pocket, conversations, that'll be awesome. And I would love to explain it. So, other than that, if there's any, motorcycle oil questions.
Yeah, we had one comment pop up. I'm pretty sure that was Terry Earls that popped up, but I don't see any other questions tonight. So,
yeah, if you want, Doug, we can do. I could do something on RV antifreeze. That's a whole half hour. There's more to RV antifreeze than going down to Walmart and. On my end, I get it. It's more so that we could talk about because it's like, oh, well, I can buy it for $1.98 down at Walmart for a gallon, and well, if you got it for $5, just for example, it's definitely not apples to apples. It's definitely different what's in that jug. So, we can explain that a little bit. And it's colored pink, just to reference that it's, RV antifreeze. So, but, other than that,
weather down there, it was beautiful in Georgia. It got cool at night, but you couldn't ask for nicer weather. It was actually kind of warm on Saturday for a while.
Yeah, so we had, it was 4 nights over at the dirt track in Charlotte this year. So it was, the prior week they had the short track series there. It was in the 80s and just gorgeous weather. It was over for that, 2 nights of that or 2 days. But unfortunately, the cold front come through. I mean, we had a couple of days was in, the low 30s, but it warmed up towards the end of the week, and nighttime got a little chilly, but Saturday was nice. It only got down to 50, but it's just like in the tractor pulling world, when it gets cold or cooler, clay and dirt is a real science to try to, at least have the best track for the competitors. So, but I thought overall they did a great job over there. And the people got to be a little patient too and understand that, they're doing a little extra, track prep work just to put on a good show and make sure everybody's safe too. So
I think it bottomed out here. Our coldest was like 15 one morning. So
yeah, not too bad. So
a little early though for that, but
yeah, today is 78. I did Well, I think I went for a 5 mile walk, but it was 2.9 miles before we jumped on the show here. It was a gorgeous day, North Carolina.
We did get a little snow. I don't remember what day it was, but get a little snow, not what they got up north. I mean, an hour north of here, they had roads closed. Not because of snow, more of ice, but that was Halloween, I think. Actually,
Yeah.
Halloween morning is the morning it was not very nice.
Well, that's not fun.
So,
going over to, Christmas isn't too far away. So if anyone's looking for something special or, that unique gift for their motorsports team or,
set them up with a cooler.
Yeah, the coolers are cool. I mean, we got those more for promo stuff and giveaways, and boy, it's taken off. And they're good coolers. I mean, we have the Rugged Road and we have the Grizzly, but we can actually customize either one of those. So we have a good source to customize them. I mean, it's $25 extra, basically, unless it's some crazy design with a million colors. But what a cool gift, and from being at the track or the sport or even on the farm or work. I mean, everybody has a cooler. So,
right.
So these are kind of cool if you're looking for something, special or unique for
awards or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. But, they don't come filled though. I got to mention that. But Rugged Road's kind of cool because you get a pretty good little goodie pack. I mean, you get a divider, you get a nice pack, you get a cutting board. There's a little tray in it. You get a little koozie in there too. So it's kind of cool. And they float if you're into that kind of thing, boating and stuff, or we do that. So it's kind of neat. So we did the little experiment and launched a full cooler of beer in the lake, and they do float and stay upright. So it's kind of cool. And then Grizzly is a great product too, American made. We do like the drinkware. They have the what they call the grip, in their coffee cups and all that stuff. So those are kind of unique gifts too. But
all available on the website of beermoneypullingteam.com or Premier Lubricants. So
yeah, and we're looking forward to, hopefully there's going to be a good crowd. It's looking that way for PRI. So I would just offer come over, say hello, if anything, if you got questions or introduce yourself. And
you'll be in the Sunoco booth most of the time, correct?
Yeah, most of the time be in the Sunoco Racing Oil booth, which it'll be easy to find. I'll get the booth number, but it'll be basically across kitty corner from the Sunoco Racing Fuel booth, which is a pretty good chunk of real estate there. So
we will be on the stadium floor. So
yeah, that'll be good. But more to come on that. Like I say, maybe not next week, but 2 weeks, we'll kind of highlight PRI and come up with some kind of, promo or some special discount, prepping for next year. But other than that, emails are good. I think I answered everyone's questions. Appreciate that. There's some great questions. So there's no dumb question. And again, our goal isn't to be so technical like the petroleum, chemist, because no one's ever going to remember all that stuff. We're trying to just keep the basics so people understand the basics of lubricants and ideas. But there's been some great questions, especially with the gear oil segment, the GL5. There was some good stuff on that. So
if we're getting some response, after the show, that's great,
Yeah, keep them coming. And like I say, oil and lubricants is a gray area. That's why so many people, they use what their grandpa used, or they'll use what their engine builder says, or there's a lot to know. And when we get, ample time, because it'll probably take the full hour, we'll talk about, multi-viscosity and how, like, just for instance, a 1040, why is it a 1040? Why is it a 40 viscosity? Because we get questions all the time on, okay, if oil gets thinner when it gets hot and it starts at a 10, how can it be a 40? And stuff like that. So I did a little, it was a mini tech luncheon. It didn't turn out to be scheduled, but we just got together at one of the performance shops here in Charlotte, predominant engine builder, and it turned into like, pizza and eight, three of the engine builders, and then customers come in. So it was actually pretty good because they were getting some good questions out, basically, and one of them was understanding, a monograde viscosity to like a multigrade and how that can become that. So, well, we don't have time tonight to get into that, but we'll talk some more about that. And it's
I think
really
there's some hot news coming out about full pull tonight. So
nice.
They're having a show at 6:00 here, so we have to get off so we can let them do their thing with Jason. And not sure if Chase is going to be with him or not, but it's cool. They're taking that next step. Last weekend was the first weekend where they had free money. You got $1,000 to play with.
Yep.
And there was actually odds. So,
well, I'm drinking Busch Light tonight, but I really will put a shout out to Coltrane because they're doing some cool stuff, man. I've seen their got some more products out, and some of their little marketing clips look really good. And I know that, like us, they're trying to, promote the sport and stuff. So they're doing a knockout job over there, and looking forward to trying some of their other products too. So,
yep.
But when's the first pull, Doug, for you? I mean, you guys done, or you got some more pull?
No, yeah. Jason and Kenzie go to California Thursday. So
okay,
flying out.
And then it's
the last live stream of 2023. Then second week in January, we start up again for sure. There's a possibility of working in with that indoor pull in Kentucky the first weekend, but second weekend, the girls are going to Shipshawana.
Okay.
Jason and I are going to Florida to cover the Zellwood Florida Bowl. So
letting the girls go off on their own, huh?
Yep.
Nice. Well,
so
all right. Well,
appreciate everybody taking the time to watch, and we will be back.
Yeah, and if there's something we can do, we're looking at some other options for next year too, and different things. But we're looking for, it's all about building relationships and promoting the sport. And a nice thing for us is, not only do we have, products for your, weekend fun and your night fun, we have the day shift products as two of the core. I call it the core products. So, but including the toters and the farm and everything. So, but sounds good. Well, I appreciate everybody.
Talk to you later.
Sounds good. Thank you. Good night.
See ya.